Who has the most potential in college football? Pose that question on the socials. Ask for your input on this. Now, there was no parameters to this conversation around who has the most potential in college football. So it could be players, it could be a unit, it could be a team. But for me, the player that has the most potential in college football to get this thing started, y'all that watch the show, you know I have a special place in my heart for number 16 over there in Columbia, South Carolina. Number 16 on the field, number 1 in my heart, man. Don't make it weird. He has everything that you cannot coach when it comes to playing quarterback at the highest level of college football in a one LaNorris Sellers. All right? Like, I think when you talk about him, the way in which that discussion flows tells you everything you need to know about how good he can be at South Carolina this year. You say, well, hey, if he things up in the pass game, he's going to, there's no ceiling for the guy, right? Because when he tucks in and runs, nobody questions that part of his game. When he does that, he's straight up an Avenger, okay? Go back and watch the Clemson game. Go back and watch the A&M game. Like, as the season progressed, he got stronger. He got better for South Carolina. But, again, people say, well, if he can just clean some things up in the pass game. Notice, they don't say, if he could just prove that he could beat you as a passer. That's not what they're saying. They're saying, can he clean some things up, be more consistent, and make some of those throws that you need to make downfield a little bit more frequently? Now, why is that important? If you were saying he needs to prove he can do it, that would mean he hasn't done it yet. Anyone that says he's just a running back playing quarterback or that he's Anthony Richardson 2.0, they haven't actually watched the dude play. If they're telling you that, go tell them to watch the Missouri game where he went for 3.5 bills and 5 touchdowns. Go tell them to watch the Illinois game where, yeah, he missed some passes, still north of 70% completion percentage. During the month of November onward, he had one game under 70% completion percentage, and in that game he threw for right around 61%. So LaNorris Sellers, if he can, again, clean some things up in the pass game and continue doing what he did a year ago in the run game, I don't know what it was, bro. Superman took off the glasses and he became Superman. LaNorris Sellers took off the rec specs and became, I think, one of the best players in college football. I think he will be the best player in college football this year, not named Jeremiah Smith. Full mic drop. Bryce Underwood. Potential coming out his ears, dude. Like, this is a big statement, so just roll with me here. There's a very real possibility that he is the most talented quarterback Michigan has ever had in the modern era. Notice, I said talented, not best, not necessarily going to be the best. We'll see what happens there, but from a pure skill set perspective, y'all that have a Twitter account or an Instagram account, you've seen this dude throwing down backflips, which we say a lot, but when you're 225 pounds and 6'3", 6'4", that's a pretty ridiculous feat, much less to be a quarterback that runs like a 4.5 40. The dude's physically gifted, right? There's no denying that. The question we all have now is, well, when does he figure out how to channel that horsepower to play quarterback in college football? Because he's been on campus all of like 17 minutes, just got a student ID, figured out where he likes to eat in Ann Arbor. So he's figuring some of those things out when it comes to college life and being a college quarterback in general. But if he has that light bulb come on week 2 at Oklahoma, how good is Michigan going to be? Like, if Bryce Underwood plays to his potential of his physical giftings, which is a massive if and something we should give him some runway on, Michigan is going to be a college football playoff team. The defense is electric. I think the skill players, they've done a lot on the perimeter to try and elevate and help him. Still a question mark, but if your quarterback's taking over the game, then you're in a much better spot there to be successful. I love the running back room. I love Sharon Moore. I love the culture, all those things. If Bryce Underwood, again, translates to how good he can be potential-wise, all bets are off. Now, I didn't want to have this conversation around Arch Manning because it's so on the nose, dude. And honestly, we're entering into this part of the year where I promise you, come SEC Media Days, whether Arch Manning is there or not, because at the time of us recording this, there's been no announcement as to who Texas is taking. But there's going to be a lot of Arch Manning fatigue for everyone, I think, consuming content in digital media. So I want to be leery of that. But, what do you want me to do, bro? He's a 5-star quarterback playing a Steve Sarkisian system. His last name's Manning, which comes with the Manning pedigree. He sat for 2 years. He's learned the playbook. He now has finally, I think, managed to keep his ID in his wallet, contrary to maybe some learning mistakes on the fly for our guy early in his college career. There's no way around this. He's the difference between Texas being a team that makes the college football playoff, maybe plays in the semis again, and then wins a national championship. That is the difference that Arch Manning potentially brings for you. Big statements, but this is just the reality. Potential is a very, very interesting word in modern college football right now because it means you haven't done it just yet. But when it comes to what Arch Manning can be and what he can mean for Texas, potential is the only, I think, suitable word for number 16 in the burnt orange. Now, I told you at the top of this thing, we were going to use the word potential with no real parameters as to who it could apply to. The Big 12 has massive potential in the landscape of college football. I'll take it a step further. I think they have tremendous party crasher potential when it comes to the college football playoff picture. You look across college football, and quarterbacks are, moving teams like you move apartments every single year. The lease is up, go somewhere else. Not in the Big 12. They have, count them, 8 returning starting quarterbacks in that conference here next season. Is it that ridiculous to think that one or two of those guys could catch fire and make their team in itself a juggernaut? Like, what if Sam Leavitt does what he did last season against Texas, and that carries over to this upcoming season, and ASU, without Cam Skattebo, no boo, no problems, much like y'all on Valentine's Day, and they just keep rolling. Kanye Udo picks up where Cam Skattebo left off, and Arizona State finds their way into the college football playoff as an at-large bid because they didn't win the Big 12 for whatever reason. I don't know how it shakes out. But do you really want to see them the first round of the college football playoff with a quarterback who has college football playoff experience? Or Baylor and Sawyer Robertson, all the production they have back on offense, and the stoic Dave Aranda on the sideline, a guy who's won a Big 12 title, or Avery Johnson in Kansas State. There's a lot of quarterbacks now that if you catch them in the first round of the college football playoff, that would be a situation where, outside of Sam Leavitt, it would be new territory for them. But I think the veteran presence at quarterback versus whoever you have, a lot of new starting quarterbacks across college football, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't feel great about that. I'll say that much. Roster-wise, who knows how they stack up, but quarterback-wise, the experience factor could be a massive differentiator for them. Also, is it that unrealistic, like I just said, to assume that you could get 2 teams from the Big 12 into the college football playoff? We would have seen it in the 2022 season where TCU made the college football playoff after losing the Big 12 title game. It just takes one team to go on a run, get hot, play well in the regular season, and another team to win the Big 12, and then all bets are off at that point in time. You have 2 teams in from that conference. So party crash potential based on the quarterback position for the Big 12, through the roof. Now, a couple of teams here. Penn State, they just got that vibe to them this year that it's about the national championship. Like how Ohio State last year was probably breaking it down on natty or bust, or the year before for Michigan, natty or bust. It's kind of the feel for Penn State. You went out and got Jim Knowles. You kept Drew Allard. You kept your backfield. You kept Denai Dennis Sutton. It's all there. And I don't want to say that it is national championship now or never for Penn State, because I think that's inappropriate with the nature of the Big Ten Conference and the way the playoff is evolving and how good a coach James Franklin is, contrary to some of the jokes on social media. But I don't know there's going to be a better window for Penn State than this season in the foreseeable future. That's just how I feel about it. So Penn State, with all they've done to, again, circle the wagons and make a push for this year, across the conference too, new quarterbacks at Michigan, Oregon, and Ohio State. Penn State, the floor is yours, man. I still have been very vocal. I want to see it before I believe it, but if there's a time to see it, this feels like the year with where Penn State at roster-wise and where they're at experience-wise and where the rest of the conference is with just some of the things you're figuring out at quarterback across the conference. So Penn State, potential through the roof. I think they're a national title contender without a doubt. LSU, I've been very vocal about this as well. I don't see any holes. If you're going to tell me LSU can't win a national championship, I'm going to need you to make a very strong case as to why not. And if your first case is Brian Kelly being a bad football coach, I'm going to send you right out the door, man. Dude's won 70% of his games and coached over 20 years in college football. I don't think he's the problem. Now, situationally, would you like to see different things from Brian Kelly? Would you like to see his team maybe a little bit more dialed in certain moments? Sure. But outside of that argument, I don't believe that Brian Kelly is the issue for LSU here going into 2025. Going back to last year, too, look at the games that LSU lost. There were games, or moments, I should say, where LSU was just, not present, right? Second half against A&M. Marcel Reed subs into the game. LSU can't adjust, lose the football game. Against Alabama, I don't even think LSU got off the bus. Home game, Baton Rouge, and Jalen Moto just scored another touchdown. The game against Florida, LSU should not be losing to Florida with what that roster was versus what Florida was. And that's not saying anything less of Florida. I'm just telling you, I think it was a lot of eye off the ball moments for LSU a season ago which maybe you point to Brian Kelly and say that's on you, and that's not an unfair thing to say, but I think going into next season with Nussmeier back, with what they did via the portal, with another year under Brian Kelly's culture and system, like, to me, everything is shaping up for them to go be a team that competes for, and I think potentially wins a national championship. They have that kind of potential. Last one I want to hit on here, A&M as a team, a lot of potential. Their backfield, I don't think they get talked about nearly enough nationally. Le'Veon Moss is the best running back that averaged 6 yards a carry last year before he got hurt, that is getting 0 love in the preseason. And that's fine, but I'm just saying, I think you probably bet Tennessee in Vegas to lead the conference in rushing based on how they've run the ball the last couple of years. But if you're not betting Tennessee, I might bet A&M to lead the conference in rushing. Like Marcel Reed now having the offense built to his skill set, which it wasn't this time last year. It was built for Connor Wegman. They kind of adjusted it on the fly. Colin Klein, who was a mobile quarterback when he played, so he's calling plays for his own skill set in a one Marcel Reed. Oh, by the way, you got Reuben Owens, who missed all of last year for the most part until the end of the season with a knee injury, I believe it was. He's back in the fold. Like there's a lot of talent in that backfield. There's a lot, I think, for A&M to be excited about. And if that backfield's humming, the domino effect of, well, then stuff opens up downfield for Casey Concepcion, for Terry Bussey. Like there's a lot there that would, I think, flow from that. If you can run the football in the SEC, you're going to be okay, along with what else A&M has on that roster. So A&M's backfield with Le'Veon Moss, Marcel Reed, Reuben Owens, it's teeming with potential for 2025.